What's up, NY John here for the finals of the Go For It Friday Night Cup. If you've been with me for the whole time, thank you for tuning in and sticking with us. We have Team QT coming off a decisive victory against, I already forgot their name, Dis Hero So Forest. And we'll see who's going to get the better of this one as we get into it. DHSF, as I'll refer to them from here on out, a team that I am not familiar with. Of course, they did work their way through 2 matches of their own to end up in this finals game, so we'll see how they can try and manage against QT. And now we can see bans already coming out. The Radiant team have taken out Broodmother, Chaos Knight, and Nature's Prophet, while the Dire have taken out Darkseer, Lycan, and Naga Siren. And Chen is going to be first picked by DHSF. Meanwhile, QT are going to respond with a Rubik, and they're going to add something to it. It's going to be a Lone Druid, so like that Lone Druid pick. We'll probably see Zog on the back of it as well. Again, Venomancer picked up by DHSF. Gives them very good lane control with the Chen and Venomancer. They can make a strong tri-lane out of that. They could also make it an aggressive tri-lane. Leshrac is still in the pool, and there it is. Leshrac is going to be picked up by the Radiant team. And we'll see what they can make out of that. Now the final pick before the second stage of banning for QT. What do they want to go here? Lone Druid, Rubik. Very open in terms of their possibilities. Invoker is still available, as well as Enigma. If they want to go for something in the jungle, Enigma and Enchantress. Not sure they'll be there after the banning phase. That's an option for DHSF right now. They could take out Enchantress and Enigma. Sanking is picked up by QT, so QT have potentially 2 supports in Rubik and Sanking. So if they think the Rubik is solo, they're going to want to take out the junglers. If they think he's a support, they could leave the junglers in. And now DHSF with their 4th ban. Picks did go rather quickly to this point, so it's going to slow down a little bit as we move on.
10 seconds remaining.
And they're going to dip into their extra time perhaps here to think about this one. Nope, Queen of Pain is going to be banned out. So they decided to take Quap out of the pool. Now QT are going to get rid of Morphling. So both pretty standard bans for the second phase. Now the 5th and final ban for DHSF is going to be Enigma. So they decided to take out one of the junglers. Of course, creating team fight potential with that Sanking there as well. And now the final ban for QT. It's going to be tied. So DHSF with a pick here. Invoker made it through. He's definitely an option for both teams. Tinker is still available as well. Works with a Lone Druid and with a Chen, so both teams could run a Tinker pretty successfully. They're going to take their time on this selection. And while we have a moment, I want to remind you, go to GoForIt.com, find 4 friends, plus yourself, make a 5-man team, play some 5-man Dota, sign up for the Saturday Night Cup as well as the Sunday Night Cup this week. I'll be casting the Saturday Night Cup tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, 20 CEST if you're from Europe. And, of course, we'll have a lot more fun. Again, we showcased a bunch of new teams today, and an old favorite has made its way back to the finals against another new team, a fresh face in DHSF. And we'll see what they're able to pull through with. It's going to be Brewmaster pick. So Brewmaster, a very aggressive early hero. What are QT going to pick to respond to this? It's a very interesting look for DHSF. Leshrac is going to be the beneficiary of farm in some capacity somewhere. They could put him bottom if they want to. They can dual mid with a Brewmaster. They could also solo mid with a Brewmaster. Very open lineup thus far. So with 4 picks, usually you see a little bit more solidity or solidifying of roles, but it's a little bit open where they want to put people. We know Chen's going to be in the jungle. Venomancer is going to be support. Leshrac has to take farm, and Brewmaster has to take farm. Nightstalker is going to be the response from QT, and Nightstalker an excellent pick against Brewmaster, because if he can get that silence off during the nighttime, it's going to be really effective to stop that Primal Split from going down. Even against Leshrac and Venomancer, to an extent, that silence is very important. Leshrac, if you can get him off of getting good engagement, this is what QT love to do. They love the 25-minute games. They want to go all in, and we've seen them pay for it once in the past, I believe, or twice against a team, I believe it was Slayer once.
Seconds remaining.
So we'll see if DHSF can get anything going against them. They're going to pick the Bounty Hunters, the long lane solo hero, and that's going to round out their lineup. Chen, Venomancer, Leshrac, Brewmaster, and Bounty Hunter against Keeper of the Light, Night Stalker, Sand King, Lone Druid, and Rubik. And it looks like Lone Druid's going to be solo in that long lane again. We're going to have Night Stalker perhaps in the middle. They can run duos as well. So let's not predict as much and wait and see, because I'm not entirely sure how this is going to pan out. Couple seconds while everyone selects up their heroes until we get into it. Finals of Go for Dota Friday Night Cup are now live, and the game is paused. So a little bit of a lie there. I'm MY John, your shoutcasting host, and thank you for tuning in. Everybody that's been with me since the onset of the tournament, I really appreciate it. And make sure to stay tuned for future coverage. You can follow me here on Twitch, so I'll make it really easy for you to know when I go live, or you can even subscribe to me on YouTube, where the VODs from all today's action will be available tonight. YouTube.com/MYJohnTV. I really appreciate any and all support you can offer. Word of mouth is great as well, as if you want to tell your friend, there's this new shoutcaster that's awesome. I would love it. Pause is up, so let's just take a look at who's playing what hero while we have the time. For QT, we have them on the Dire team. It's going to be Keeper of the Light being played by Riksu. We have Zog playing the Lone Druid, Sand King playing, I keep mixing that up now, Az playing the Sand King, Fugo playing Night Stalker, and Muzz playing Rubik. We saw Fugo have an outstanding game last game with that Night Stalker. We'll see if he can try and replicate a performance like that and get it going. We have a disconnect coming out from Leshrac, though, so he's going to try and get back into it. For the rest of DHSF, it's going to be Grondal playing Brewmaster. We have AAA playing Venomancer, Egon Olsen playing the Bounty Hunter, Ivs playing Chen, and that leaves Evil Jun playing Leshrac. And I've done it before, and I'll do it again. I want to apologize if I'm mispronouncing your names, because I don't know what they're supposed to be pronounced like. So you can, of course, write in Twitch chat after the game, or send me a PM flaming me for saying your name wrong on a stream, if that is the case. Otherwise, I'm going to keep doing whatever I'm doing. And we'll take a short break. I'll rest my breath for a moment here during the pause. Hopefully it won't last all too long. I'm just waiting for Leshrac to reconnect to the game, I suppose. So we'll get this one going as soon as possible. Stay with us. We're already in game, so half the battle has been won. The Rubik is solo. They're going to want to take out the junglers. If they think and it looks like this is going to last for a little while longer. I encourage people on the stream to participate in the chat if you have an opportunity. We've seen a lot of action today, and thank you for everyone that is making themselves prevalent there and keeping things going. Some good discussions as well about mechanics and the such going on. So while we have a moment, this could be a good time to check out GoForDota.com. If you haven't already signed up there, make sure you make an account there, as well as prepare yourself to sign up for the future cups. These cups are run weekly. I also want to use this opportunity to shout out the Fight Night Dota Cup, the newest cup picked up by Go for Dota. It's been run for a couple weeks now, I believe, by Torn and St. Simon. That's going to be on Wednesday nights around 8 p.m. Eastern, so very late for your European players, but for North American players, it's a nice time and definitely an exciting cup. I watched some action during the one that happened this week, the inaugural one for Go for Dota, and it certainly was worth the while. And all this tournament experience is tremendous for up-and-coming teams. And here we go. We're going to get back into the game. The go call is up, and game is live. So I'm interested to see how these lanes pan out. Where do they want to put everybody? Of course, Bounty Hunter on the long lane. It looks like Leshrac is going to make his way towards the bottom lane. So we'll get his farm going on the bottom. However, knowing QT, they have some kind of aggressive tri-lane in mind. And here it goes. They're going to 5-man towards the bottom area. And hopefully DHSF are a little bit careful. Or otherwise we may see an engagement like last match where it was an early 5v5 fight in the jungle. But it looks like they're going to be a little bit safe as Ivs is the furthest out in the jungle, but he's not far at all. So this is a common strategy by a lot of mid-skill teams and even professional teams use it to some degree. They like to rotate in, get the wards down, they block off the pull. They got a nice ward for their long laner, make it a little bit easier on them. They're going to spot it off on the rotation out by the ward placed by Chen, who actually did put himself into an awkward situation by himself. He could have been caught off there if he was a moment later, and that would have been very devastating for him. But they're able to get the wards off easily and not risk the life of the long laner going into the jungle to try and put them down by themselves. Because it is definitely a risk going into multiple disables. So something to keep in mind if you're on an up-and-coming team and you want to practice new strategies. It's also an opportunity to catch someone out. We see some teams like to put the ward behind the tower so they can really zero in on a hero trying to go to the safe lane and pick him off early. The bear is going to look to pull the creeps all the way back to his tower. So Zog trying to be a little bit creative here with his play. When we see this pretty common coming out from the Dire team when you're on Lone Druid. It's like the slow is going to come up. He's going to try and kill the bear, but the bear is so healthy that it's just a difficult task. He's going to end up getting that way back to him. Middle lane is going to be 2 melee, so we're going to see Night Stalker versus Brewmaster. And who is going to get the better of that matchup? It's going to be an interesting battle. So Brewmaster is a little bit better at damage output, I'd imagine. The clap, on top lane, though, it looks like Egan also may be in trouble. Do they have anything to reveal the invisibility? And yes, they put down a sentry ward, and he's dropping really low. He pops up the salve. One more hit would finish him off, and he gets in. Oh, he eats the tree and just narrowly survives. Muzz with the last hit, he thought it was a kill, but no. Egan gets out of there with his life, and now he has to be so careful. He had to use a salve and eat a tree. He's going to be low health for the remainder, and one blast from Keeper of the Light will take him out. This Keeper of the Light could use that Illuminate. Level 1, what, 300 damage? 200 damage with the max channel. So huge damage from that. And it looks like AAA plus Leshrac, they just want to be aggressive in this bottom lane, try and get this tower down as soon as possible, push back the Lone Druid. And we can see early on at CS, we see Leshrac 6 for 0, so he's doing a good job on the bottom. Keeper, Lone Druid rather, 4 for 0, so a good job on the back of him as well. Middle lane, let's check out the exchange between these two. 4 for 1, so very even in the middle lane. A couple more denies coming out to Night Stalker, but nothing too big. And this is going to be one of the more important matchups. Both heroes geared toward this early and mid-game aggression. They want to get those level up and then execute ganks very effectively. And Night Stalker, especially when you hit that Knight, it's going to be paramount for him to really get involved in a strong capacity for his team. Everything looking pretty even. This is probably the first time I've seen QT run a conservative tri-lane, not an aggressive tri-lane. So, interesting to note. They're letting the farm go on Sanking as well. So they want to get up that early Arcane Boots. They want to get up the early Blink Dagger, allow Sanking to do his work in the middle of a team fight. And I love an aggressive Sanking. I love putting farm on a Sanking as well. We've seen players, big name players like TC do it and just make the best out of the early game. Coming in with the Epicenter, it does so much damage when you're being aggressive, when you're forcing pushing scenarios and grouping up of multiple heroes. You could definitely get good, positive results out of that. Fugal on the middle lane, going to continue to CS. We see the free farmers doing pretty well. Pretty even as well. 3 minutes into this, no one has gone for a kill yet. Grondal running out of mana. Who got the rune to start with? It doesn't look like it's been picked up, actually. So it's going to be an illusion picked up by Muzz. Rubik going to head back towards the top, send an illusion middle to perhaps scare off Grondal. If Grondal had a ward here, would have spotted it off. Had no fear of the illusion, but perhaps he'll have to be a little bit wary here. You see that CS battle, 13-1 against 12 for 6, so it maintains itself at a very even exchange. And I'm not sure either party is too disappointed with that result. Both of them want to get their early farm up, get their essentials, those boots, perhaps an Urn on Night Stalker. eventual Blink Dagger and Brewmaster. He just wants to get it going effectively, and they'll both be content with just picking up the CS and essentially a clean wash in the middle lane. Meanwhile, both teams are also taking their tri-lane victory. Of course, it's only actually a duo down here as Chen is rotating around. He was in the jungle. So it's a very even game 4 minutes into it. And we haven't seen any breaking point. There's a little bit of a gold advantage and a little bit of an experience advantage for the Dire. I'm not sure. It's probably going to be... It's a little bit odd that they have an experience advantage because Chen is against them. So a jungler usually means you'll have a little bit more experience advantage. But it looks like they are behind a little bit. Unless the graph is glitched. No, it's not. So I can't really explain that unless they're just pulling so effectively that they're getting better levels. And Venomancer has stayed in the lane for the most part, which he could move out a little bit. Leshrac is pretty safe. Lone Druid not even coming up. He's going to look to try and pull a wave with this bear now. Middle lane, jump on top of Fugle. Fugle's going to take a good amount of damage, but Grundle is going to back off in the end. He's going to pop his level 6 in a moment here. We'll see if he wants to try and be further aggressive on the back end of that level 6. He fakes the little clap. Bottom lane, the push is on. Now Chen has rotated in. He has the Satyr Creep. Can, of course, nuke those waves. Leshrac popping off the Edict, going to deal a ton of damage to the tower. And they opt not to pop the Glyph during the Edict. This could be a folly unless they're just acknowledging the part that they're going to lose this tier 1 and just want to save the tier 2. And the tower taking a lot of damage. They drop out the Plague Wards as well. What level are their Plague Wards? They are level 2, so they're a little bit healthier. And the tower going to go for the deny, but just missed. Venomous Gale does hit. Zog is going to get away safely, though. Nothing to follow up on him. And now Egan Olsen coming back into the lane. He's level 2.5. Mud's going to run into him over here on the side. There's no invis detection up that I can see right now. Does Keeper of the Light have? He has 1 sentry left, so they could spot him off and keep him further out of the lane, but he's picking up some levels where he can, so not a bad job on this Bounty Hunter. We're going to wait to see who's going to get the first blood, and I believe it's going to end up involving one of these mid-heroes. We see Night Stalker rotating now. It has just turned into nighttime, and Rune's going to spawn in a couple seconds. QT is sitting on both Runes. They're going to get a haste at the top. In fact, they're going to try and leave it for the Night Stalker, but we'll see if Brewmaster's going to move it all for it. No, it looks like Grondel is going to actually let it go. So boots are now up on Night Stalker. He can definitely get something going if he wants to go towards the top lane, try and get BH early on. And it looks like that will be his option. Telekinesis pops off on Egan. They don't have invis detection quite yet, though. He's taking a little bit of damage. They assume he's going back to the tower. It looks like Riksu's going to do that. He pops on the sentry. He's going to run into him. And now Egan has to turn around. He just tries to get out of here. But the Void comes in and first blood is claimed by Night Stalker. Haze gets him in range, and now the push will be on. Meanwhile, bottom lane still pushing in favor of the Radiant team. They're going to keep going on this tower. The tier 2 taking damage now. Glyph is still available for both teams. Neither team wanting to pop it off quite yet. Wave is going to be spammed up by Sanking here. Sanking now sitting on 700 gold. Already has those arcane boots up. And the tower is being focused on very quickly. In fact, it is now dead. Last hit goes to Sanking. So now 1,200 gold. He's going to get that Blink Dagger quickly. And it comes down to which team has more faith in their line of executing properly. Bounty Hunter has to be a little bit careful here, but there's no invis detection, so he should be pretty safe. And it looks like, in fact, QT are going to back up here, so perhaps DHSF getting the better of this exchange that they can pick up this tier 2. Meanwhile, middle, this whole time we have Grondel continuing to farm. Bias Lonesome has finished up his phase boots, so opting to go for phase over the arcane boots. We see they're pretty interchangeable. Now back as Fugle makes his way down here. The splitter comes out, and Fugle's going to get hit by Venomous Gale as well. He's taking a good amount of damage. The Void pops out of Ives. Ives going to back up. Mer's taking damage in the middle fight as well, though. The Bear's trying to come in, but in comes Grondel. He pops out with the Primal Split, and the stun's going to come out on top of Zog. Zog's going to take a ton of damage here, but he's in that bear form, so he's the worst target for him to focus. And it looks like the Primal Split's not going to catch anybody here, but Keeper of the Light needs to run out. Oh, he could have almost caught him with a tornado, and that would have been devastating. And the Primal Split ending up not paying dividends. They trade 1 for 1. It was, in fact, Rubik for a Leshrac, and that is going to be a trade that's going to favor QT. And the Primal Split starting to go off on the Lone Druid. Just had to be a mistake. Meanwhile, back here, they're going to go ahead and finish off Chen. Fugle and Az behind the wave, getting him, and now the stun on Grondel. He could be in trouble as well. Evil Jung comes back in. The Splitter is going to hit Az. Slow him down for a little while. He's taking a good amount of damage. He has no Sandstorm available. One more hit to finish him off. Leshrac will get the kill there. And now Fugle gets the Void and finishes off the Brewmaster. Evil Jun now gets a Splitter, though. Takes down the Keeper of the Light. And now Fugle thinking about trying to focus Evil Jun, but the TPN is going to scare him off. And Fugle is going to rotate out. The kill is 4-3 in favor of QT right now. We're at the 9-minute mark. Grondel dropping there. Another big loss, but nice for Leshurk to make his way back in quickly enough to pick up those 2 kills. So that's going to be huge for him. And now, oh, Leshurk in trouble, though. As I say that, he gets entangled by the bear. And Muz plus Zod combined for a kill on Leshurk under his own tower. And the tower is below half health. They can continue pushing on here and try and take it down. This is going to be a big equalizer for them. Meanwhile, the middle tower is being pushed by AAA. AAA does have those Plague Wards level 3. So the tower is almost around half health. On the top lane, we do see Olsen trying to pick up some levels where he can. He's level 5 now. Almost level 6. Really wants to track. And Az does not have any invis detection. He did die in the bottom lane as well. So slows down his farm a little bit. Still standing around the same point that we saw him last. 1,300 gold. Going towards that Blink Dagger, of course, as early as possible. The tower will survive on the bottom lane at 243 health. So really low and susceptible to further pushing as we move on here. And now Ivs being able to pick up that headdress. Evil John has his arcane boots and a bracer, plus Ring of Bassi, and of course a magic wand. So he has a good amount of extra health on him from the bracer. He's at 800 health. Can survive through some things, but the entangle is just a little bit too much to ask for when you also have some support there. And now Brewmaster with the DD bottled. He doesn't have an ultimate for another 35 seconds if they want to try and gank him here. And nighttime is running out for Night Stalker. He has popped off his ultimate, so he will extend it as long as possible. Earn is up on him as well. And he's going to go ahead and use the clap in the middle lane, but Fugu is going to turn this around, pops a void off on him. Nothing to follow up, though. Instead, Keeper of the Light comes in. Illuminate's going to come off here. It's not going to hit anybody, though. Will hit the wave. Oh, but Muz catches off Egan Olsen. Egan Olsen gets out safely, though. No one there to follow up, and now silence on Grondel. But Chen comes in from the side, and they're going to try and turn it around. The clap comes out from the Ursa. We do see another Illuminate coming out, though, taking a lot of health off of the creep wave, and in fact destroying most of it. As in the top lane, continue his farm, now at 2,000 gold, while the team centralized around these middle tier 1 towers. And tier 1 for the Dire is going to be the focus of DHSF here as they move forward. And now another Illuminate is going to hinder that process a little bit more. We see another ultimate popped off by Night Stalker to try and extend the night further. Track is on Muz, they know where he is, the tower drops. Fugel needs to retreat out of here. Grondel is right on his case, but it looks like everybody's going to be safe. The tier 1 does drop, so the second tower claimed of the game by DHSF to only 1 tower thus far for QT. We can see the gold lead. To take that tower into account, no, so the gold lead is going to swing in favor of the Radiant team. 3,000 experience, though, in favor of the Dire, so the Dire looking prominent in that regard. QT versus DHSF in the finals of the Go for Dota Friday Night Cup. Thank you for joining me. I'm NY John, and I hope you enjoyed the broadcast throughout the entirety of the day. If you're new to my broadcast, I hope you're enjoying yourself as well, and you'll come back for more action. We have some games coming up tomorrow as well as Sunday. Now we see an engagement. It's going to go on top of AAA. AAA is going to be in trouble here as well. Another stun up in 5 seconds. Illuminate's going to take him down to around 177 health. So if Az can light another stun, Blink Dagger is going to be available in 2 more seconds. Instead, Fugel comes in. He's going to look for a void. And either way, it looks like Az is going to die. He tries to block himself off, but he's in a juke spot that has 2 openings. And he goes down. So a nice pickoff there for the Dire team. They did commit a lot of resources to it. But nothing much going on. They're not losing anything in exchange for it quite yet. There's no real damage on this top tower. Invisibility is bottled up by Brewmaster. He's going to rotate up top, and they're going to try and put damage on the tier 1. A Fable comes out from Muz in the middle lane. It looks like they're going to try and claim the tier 1 for themselves, but probably have to trade here. I'm not sure this is going to be the best trade. They're going to 4-man for a tier 1. Oh, but Ivs is in bad spot, and he's going to get stunned off here by the Burrow Strike, and the Illuminate will finish him off. Keeper of the Light claiming the kill on top of Chen. And now surely they'll get the tower on the back end of this. We do see Venomancer making his way back up, and the top tier 1 is slowly dropping, very slowly. We see Egan Olsen has opted to pick up a Medallion of Courage, so that's going to increase his damage output, as well as help the rest of his team. Glyph is popped off by the Radiant team, and now AAA is going to be in trouble as Fugel continues onto him. Pops out the Void, now the Barrow Strike from Rubik. Oh, the Barrow Strike from Sand rather, and the Fable from Rubik enough to finish him off. The tier 1 is down to around half health. Meanwhile, the Radiant team do claim that tier 1 on the top lane. So, thus far, the tier 1 is in exchange for 2 heroes. Sand drops here, though, as Grondel lands a clap on him while he's trying to TP out. So well played by Grondel, making his way back in there after claiming that tower. And now Egan Olsen looking for an opening in the jungle. He's going to run into Fugel and wish he hadn't, because that's not going to be a hero that he can take down.
fortified.
It looks like Illuminate's going to pop off, hit on top of Evil John. Evil John does have an Ogre Club, so it looks like he's going to be working towards an early BKB. And now Egan Olsen pops out of that Invis and tries to get something going, but it gets turned around on him, and he's going to drop. Down he goes. The kill goes to Night Stalker, who's on an unstoppable spree at 14 minutes into the game. Fugel once again bringing the pain from that middle lane solo for QT. He's 6-0 in this one. He finished the last game around 17-1 or something ridiculous, or 17-4. My mind tricks me. I forget what the actual final score was for him, but his Tempo Assassin was looking good, and surely his Night Stalker is looking good in this one too. Meanwhile, we see DHSF still looking strong, and they definitely are holding their own. Leshrac, if he can finish up that BKB, he's going to be huge in team fights with all that AoE damage coming out. There's a lot of heroes that are going to take a ton of damage, such as the Sand King, but in middle lane, we see Brewmaster did pop off the Primal Split, and he was trying to go on someone, but this could be, he's backing up, and the Primal Split is wasted again. There's no kill as a result of the Primal Split for the second time in this game. There's not much that can be said about that. It's just, it's like when you use a black hole, you need to get a kill out of it. And Grondal struggling in that regard. He is close to his Blink Dagger though, so perhaps that will be the change that he needs to really get going. We see a lot of heroes gravitating towards this middle lane, trying to defend the tier 1. They're going to send Brewmaster back to the base, heal up his mana. Meanwhile, Egan Olsen looking to finish off Treads, it looks like. Smoke may come out momentarily. No smoke on the heroes. Lone Druid, not too much farm on him. What does the Bear have going on? Bear does pick up an early Maelstrom again, so Zog opting for that Maelstrom. Kind of like the AUI 2000 build. AUI 2000 of bottom. Definitely likes that. The increased attack speed allows him to get more demolish damage on towers. And it's a good amount of damage. It comes earlier as well than you would get a Radiance, so it definitely has a lot of positives to it. Can't complain. This tower has been the focus of the Dire team for quite some time now. Meanwhile, Leshrac is getting good farm, so we can see he's 72 for 6. 2 members of the Radiant are leading the way in CS, so I'm not sure if the trade is worth it. It took them about, really, 2.5 minutes here to go on this tower, and now the tower's finally going to drop. We have a TP in, though, and they're going to try and make something. Grondal uses his new card Blink Dagger to get in the middle of the fight. Fugel's taking a lot of damage as well, and now the Hand of God going to save everybody off. Down goes Night Stalker. Rubik was already dead. Evil John trying to pursue on top of Riksu. One last stun. Down he goes. Riksu's going to drop. 3 kills for the Radiant team. And they lose the tower, but they end up getting 3 kills on the back end of it. Grondal with a perfect initiation. Didn't need the Primal Split for that one, as it was not available either. But getting in the middle of the fight, a good TP in time by Evil John, and showed the enemy team just what they were giving up. Let him even get that much farm uncontested on the off lane. And now the tower is going to be pushed as well. They're going to get a tier 2 tower out of this. So they end up getting a huge team fight in their favor and a tier 2 tower. DHSF now in the driver's seat. Rondo, however, going to be turned on. Do they have anything to finish him off? No, he's going to be sent back to the base by Chen. And he will be safe. Mech finished up by Chen now. Let's take a look at the rest of the items. Evil Jun, 1900 gold in the bank, so he can finish a BKB. It's probably what he's looking for. Definitely be big, especially against the Sand King, against the Void, and the Silence as well. That will take the Silence off of him. AAA does have those Arcane Boots and 1200 gold in the bank. We can check out Dire team members. Zog still sitting on the Maelstrom for the Bear. We have Muzz with Arcane Boots. Riksu's going to have his Headdress and his Buckler about 700 gold away from, oh no, 600 gold away from finishing off his mech. So it's going to be a key pickup for them as the enemy already has a mech. Fugel, 800 gold in the bank, already has an Ogre Club, so this could be working towards either an Aghanims or, if he wants, towards a BKB of his own. Even in some rare cases, we'll see a Sange. So, a lot of possibilities up there. And now Sand King with 600 gold in the bank, he could go towards a Veil of Discord next. He could also go towards an Aghanims. He could go towards a BKB. There are a lot of options for him, and we won't know until he gives us some indication of where he wants to go. I'm MY John. This is Go For Dota Friday Night Finals. Thank you for tuning in and staying with us throughout the day. It has been my pleasure to bring you these games and this ton of action. This game a little bit slower than the past 2, but I have this feeling that things are going to reach a breaking point sooner or later. And now Egan Olsen looking for a kill in the jungle. He's going to run into Riksu here, pops off the track on him, throws down the Shuriken a little bit early. Riksu could actually TP out of this if he wanted to because of their early Shuriken usage. And now it's going to be turned around. The dust has popped off it. They can get an entangle. It will almost ensure the death of Egan. Oh, but no, Egan's going to juke back. Look for the kill, but telekinesis as Muzz makes his way into the middle of the fight. We see Ives coming in from the backside, though, and now in comes Evil John. A ton of AoE damage going to be popped off, and down goes Rubik, and now Zog is going to take a world of hurt. 2E goes down. Evil John picking up 2 kills there, and Leshrac is showing everyone that he is in charge of this game right now. Wow, and he opts for the drums before he finishes off his BKB. So wants to increase his mana pool, wants to increase his mobility. That helps out his team as well, popping that off. And he is really dominating this game. 7 for 2 in terms of kills. We'll put that up here so everyone can take a gander. 6 for 1, meanwhile, on Nightstalker. And are they going to be able to contest this tier 2? No, it's already so low. This is another tower claim by DHSF. And they're looking so strong now on the back of Evil John. And despite the fact that Bounty Hunter really doesn't have all too much farm, he has died a couple times. Just getting that track off and getting the gold in the back end of that. That's all they need right now to keep things going in their favor. And momentum surely is in their favor. We can see only 5 minutes ago, gold was even. Now 5,000 gold in favor of the Radiant squad, DHSF. The Radiant, meanwhile, are also pulling back in experience too. So over 1,000 experience in their favor. And a turnaround. Bounty Hunter, meanwhile, picking up a Staff of Wizardry. So he could go for a ton of things with this, but I'm not sure exactly what he's going to want out of these options. Interesting choice. Perhaps just a Force Staff to try and keep himself a little bit safer. Now, 3-man jungle. Nightstalker does have an invisibility rune, so yet again he could try and make something happen. And it's going to come down to Fugle trying to get off really strong initiations to bring this game back into favor of the Dire team. And there just isn't enough farm on Lone Druid. I like the Maelstrom build when you're pushing and you have some control, but that is not the case for Lone Druid right now. And we can see in the team fights, he's taking a lot of damage from the Leshrac. And in all honesty, Spear Bear just isn't dealing all too much damage. He's not too fearsome yet. Sand as well hasn't gotten off the best epicenter in the team fight, so Az needs to try and create that opening. We're at the 21 minute mark, and by now I would have expected Az to have at least 1 kill, but he's 0-3 and 4. So only part of 4 kills on a Sand that received the farm in your lane. That is not how you want your Sand to come into play in most scenarios. You want that Sand to be so proactive by the 17 minute mark, by the 16 minute mark, get involved in a ton of kills, land those epicenters. And those could definitely be game changers as well. We do see drums are going to come out on him, so increases his health pool a little bit. As everybody just continues to be content with farming right now. Both teams going to stand back a little bit. 110 CS on Brewmaster, 104 on Sand King, 103 on Leshrac. Those are going to be the 3 leaders. And then 96 on Lone Druid. So Lone Druid really struggling on the back end of an aggressive tri-lane against him. Not an aggressive tri-lane, rather just a tri-lane against him with the Chen in the jungle. It was difficult for him to find any semblance of farm down there. So Zog trying to find some way to work his way back into the farming game. But at this point, it's going to be difficult for him to out-farm his opposition, especially with the track coming out. We do see BKB finish on Leshrac as well. And now Point Booster up on Brewmaster is going to be working towards his Aghanims. In fact, it is finished. So Aghanim's going to be up on Brewmaster. This is huge. And 1-1 for Brewmaster is going to have that Aghanims for the ultimate. And now Track's going to come up. The split out on Zog. Zog's going to be in trouble. They pop off all the AoE. And in comes Az once again without an epicenter to come in with. And Zog's going to drop here. So down goes the Lone Druid. Another big pick off. And the Track gold on the back end of that is just going to further increase the gap between these two in terms of farm. And it looks like DHSF are going to consider pushing on into the base here. This is going to be huge. Evil John did not pop off his BKB for that last engagement. So he's going to run right into the middle of the fight. Brondo's looking for an opening. He does have Ags on him now. The courier has delivered it out. Illuminate's going to blast out here and should take off his ability to blink for a moment. No, it's not going to hit him. And there it is. Grondel gets in the middle of the fight. He pops out the Primal Split. Az jumps into the Sandstorm to try and survive. Stun comes out on Riksu from the Earth Panda. Down he goes. 1 dead. And now they're going to finish off Az as well. He's dead. No epicenter. They're going to put up Rubik into the Tornado, but back off and just go back for the racks. And they don't even care that there's 3 heroes left alive. The Storm Panda going to continue to pop the Cyclone. This time putting up Night Stalker to slow him down. And Muzz is going to be jumped on here. One more attack. The clap will finish him off. Zog's going to be slowed down. In the middle of the fight, Fugel's trying to finish off AAA. AAA going to be sent back to the base by Chen. He's going to survive. And now he's going to turn his focus to Ives, but Ives doesn't care. Oh, and the test of fate. Chen takes down Night Stalker. And now the Rax is going to be focused in on a QT. Look like they're in a really bad position as the Rax is going to be taken down here. Rondo with another aggressive blink. He's on top of Riksu. A couple more auto attacks will take him down, but the mech is popped by Riksu to keep him alive. Az comes in with a stun. Rondo's going to turn around, put the miss on top of the bear. And now from the side, Egan Olsen finishes off a Dagon. And he finishes off Riksu as well, but Chen sends him back to the base. And Chen is killing it right now, sending everybody back to the base. No casualties for DHSF on their Rax push. And now Az is going to look to change that as he puts a Burrow Strike on Evil Jun. He backs off a little bit. Epicenter is available. I've been saying for a couple minutes now, but Evil Jun's going to be sent back to the base. He's going to be safe, and he's maybe going to take out... No, he doesn't take out Muzz on his way out. And now Chen's going to TP out. And 5-man push. They end up getting somewhere around 5 kills. 4 kills, I think, there. And a Rax. And they lose absolutely nobody. A huge engagement for DHSF. And it looks like they're going to be the favorites from here on out to take this Friday night Gopher Dota Cup. I mean, 16 for 9 is a kill lead. Not the biggest gap in terms of kill lead, but Arax is already down inside of 25 minutes. They were able to take it. 12,000 gold in their favor. Experience over 7,500 as well. And all these factors coming into play. It's going to be a significant lead for QT to try and overcome. And Egan gonna go ahead and finish off Riksu with a Dagon combo. The burst damage from Bounty Hunter. It's just too much for our Keeper of the Light to handle. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, we see a little bit of chase coming on to Evil Jun. Evil Jun gonna be focused out of here. Decides to pop the BKB and turn on them. We see the Pulse Nova as well as the Edict is being popped off here. Split Earth is going to come out momentarily as it's going to drop to a couple more ticks. Down he goes. Evil Jun going to be tossed in the air by telekinesis and actually finished off, so a decent kill for them there. But now Ivs is going to turn around. Fugel's pretty low on health. The Venomous Gale is slowing him down enough to take him off. One more attack. He pops off the BKB, but it's not enough to survive. And now Zog is going to be focused as well. The Holy Persuasion, but GG is called, and QT are going to respectfully bow out as DHSF take this victory in the Gopher Dota Friday Night Cup. And on the back end of just tremendous play from Leshrac, while the grouping up was happening from the Dire team, Leshrac continued to farm, got himself to a position where he could stand comfortably in a team fight because he needs to be in the middle of it. He had enough health, had enough support from his team, the Hand of God keeping him alive, the Mech keeping him alive, and then the Brewmaster able to pick up that farm around the 20-minute mark as well. The 23-minute mark, getting up that Aghanims, plus that Blink, it allowed him to initiate to the point where he was the centralized focus for them. So Leshrac came in and dealt so much damage for DHSF and really controlled the pace of this game. And you can see that 8, 3, and 7. Leshrac, part of 15 out of 22 kills. And that is the game. Thank you for tuning in throughout the day. This was the last game of the day. The finals from the Gopher Dota Friday Night Cup. The victory goes to DHSF, even though it looked like perhaps QT had a lead a little bit there in the early game. It was turned around decisively as DHSF, the first time I've seen them take the victory and go home with the championship. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for the Saturday Night Cup. Be sure to head over to gopherdota.com. Check out everything that they'll offer there. Sign up for the Cups Saturday and Sunday. Definitely still sign up spot available. I am NY John. Follow me here on Twitch if you like my cast. I appreciate everybody that tuned in and stayed throughout the day. Thank you so much. I'll chat in a little bit for a while if you want to talk to me in the Twitch chat. You can also contact me at nyjohntv@gmail.com. Also, check out my YouTube channel where all the VODs will be available later tonight. That's going to be youtube.com/nyjohntv. So be sure to subscribe me there if you can and check out the VODs as well. Thank you for tuning in and have a nice rest of your evening. Maybe I'll see some of you on Guild Wars 2. But if I don't see you there, I hope I see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern or 20 CEST for the Gopher Dota Saturday Night Cup.